And hello and good evening, everybody out there. Welcome to the We Stomped You Out Show, Season 3, Episode 1. It's been a while since we did the show. We had the draft special. Before that, our last show was January, where we announced that we had a defensive coordinator, and since then, we've not been on the air. But I am Steve. I got Timmy, Timchala, Tabala
Big
to my right. Boom. I got Laris Loves Faraci right down there. Aw. I'm going to put this in here for
Did you
later.
catch it?
I caught it. I put it in my shirt for later.
Wow. I'm very touched and scared all at once.
You are touched, aren't you? All right. So we have a lot to talk about today as we start to rev up for football season. And before we get started, as always, I'm going to turn it over to Keith so he can talk to us about Brooklyn Water Cafecito.
Yo, you know what? I want some coffee from Brooklyn Water Coffee Roasters. You guys own me. BrooklynWaterCoffeeRoasters.com. From their roastery to your front door. That is them to you. One line. Actually, BrooklynWaterCoffeeRoasters.com. Check them out. There's a million and one flavors out there. They are so awesome. Every single flavor. It's not really a million and one, but there's plenty of flavors, and every flavor is really delicious. One of my personal favorites is the Cinnabuzz. It's part of the high caffeine energy line, something or other. It's part of the Highline caffeine energy coffee line. Cinnabuzz is also another flavor called Jacked Up Cupcake, which is what we like to call our friend Rodriguez. He's a Jacked Up Cupcake. And I think they have this delicious flavor, but the problem with that flavor is there's so many calories in it. How many calories, Faraci? I forgot.
Zero.
Boom! Actually, there's no calories in it. Then you can also try the other coffees that's not part of the high energy line, which is something like dark roast dark chocolate, a rich chocolatey delicious flavor. And wait, how many calories is in that chocolatey flavored coffee?
Hey, how many calories in that other coffee? Huh? Zero.
Oh, so you tell me it's a chocolate coffee and there's no calories? Amazing. That alone should get you out there to www.brooklynwatercoffeeroasters.com. There's a ton of other flavors out there, including their most popular coffee, which is the medium roast coffee. Most people like medium roast. You go to your regular grocery store, you pick up a medium roast coffee, except this coffee is hand picked. And if you look at our Put in a Book show, I give you a little bit more description of what hand picked means in our last episode. Go check it out. But these beans are hand picked and they are delicious. I mean, roasted to order and guaranteed to ship within 24 hours of its roast date. So when you pick a coffee, you order it online. Once they pull your order and roast it, within 24 hours, it'll be shipped to your door. So your coffee will not be more than 2 or 3 days old, roasted. Delicious, amazing coffee. www.brooklynwatercoffeeroasters.com. From their roastery to your front door. And don't forget, you can also pick up some Morning Wood, which is what Faraci gives me every day. Some great coffee.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've added to my...
Keith.
What, Tim?
I don't drink coffee, but you make me want it.
Yeah. It's good stuff. Actually, I just picked up something else, but I won't mention that because I'll wait till we skip the segment a little bit, but it's really good. But BrooklynWaterCoffeeRoasters.com is definitely my favorite. My personal favorite is Morning Wood, Cinnabuzz, and the medium roast.
I love Morning Wood and I love dark roast dark chocolate. It's you like the Winter Wonderland too, right? Stop screwing your nose.
Oh, you're talking to me? Yeah, Winter Wonderland is really good. Sorry, I was finding some good.
I can't remember if I tried that yet.
I think you have. If not, you should check it out. Or
I
they
definitely
should
will.
hook us up with some.
Yeah, no, I like that one. Is there a way for them to get a deal?
There is. And if you act now, you could have acted last week too, but specifically if you act right now.
We didn't have a show last week, though.
You can get your third bag free. We did on theputitinthebookshow.com. From their roastery to your putitinthebookshow.com. Mask on. If you use mask on as your code word and you order 2 bags, so you can't be cheap. Don't just go on that 1 bag. Just get a second bag. You can get a 3rd bag free. There's a ton of flavors out there, and you can order 3 different flavors. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. You will anticipate finishing your first bag to get to the second and then to the third, just to try those different delicious flavors. www.brooklynwatercoffeeroast.com, from Cinesports Talk to yourdoor.com.
Excellent. All right, so let's get to some New York Giants football here, huh?
That's what I'm talking about. Big Blue.
Big Blue.
Wrecking Crew.
The Wrecking Crew, that is Big Blue. And I'm packing up some stuff in here in, what do we call this for the Giant show? Studio 56. And I came across Timmy's old picture from when we only did audio. I packed it. It's coming with me, baby.
Nice.
It's coming,
Nice.
baby.
Got to make the trip.
Yeah, that's the hat, right? That is the
Yep.
hat. Yep,
That is the hat.
That's it. All right, so we're gonna talk about this weird, crazy COVID season that we're gonna have, or not have. We'll talk through that, and it gives us a little bit of different insight into what the season's actually going to look like. So, for instance, there's no preseason, and that's something that players have been begging for years. I don't want preseason. People sit out the preseason games. But first, just quick round robin. Do you guys think, Timmy, start with you? Do you think this is going to be a full season, start to finish?
I would love to say yes, but I have a feeling no. Only because they're predicting the second wave, and every expert and every doctor saying that football is going to be the most hit because it's, grown 11 men face to face in the grass, breathing heavily and spitting on each other and piling on top of each other,
fighting each other at the bottom of the scrum.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. I played. The bottom of that is just pure hell to be on the bottom of that pile. So, I want to say yes. I'm hoping yes. I'm praying yes. It's all up to the doctors, man. It's all up to getting this vaccine going quicker sooner than later. I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to change it. I'm going to have faith for the first time. I'm going to say yes. With no preseason, I think they've got a good handle on it right now, the way they're handling things. They're learning. Like baseball should start learning. And the bubble is fantastic. NBA and NHL have done wondrous things. So I think they're going to learn. And I think we're going to have a full season. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Keith?
Positive
thinking.
Well, training camp, we have not played games, and not just us, but like any team in the NFL have not played games against other teams. But, the nature of football is, like Tim was saying, it's a very up close and personal droplet sharing type of sport. And it's not quite like baseball where everybody's separated and, typically in baseball, you're mostly distance, especially compared to baseball, you're super distance. And I'm only going according to what news I've heard. I have not heard any COVID issues in football through training camp yet. That's pretty impressive, because training camp is what you got to figure in a training camp field. You got to figure there's probably 50 to 70 people on a field at a time in certain points, right? Coaches and everything else. Second string, and it's pretty impressive. They've done well based off of how they've done in training camp. If they are able to maintain a bubble and keep the teams isolated, I would say that we're going to get through the season. Yeah, because
just wait until the first team comes down to play the Dolphins. They're going to leave with COVID.
That's the problem. Right? I don't know what the other teams' policies are right now in terms of what they're letting into the stadium with fans and stuff like that. But I know the Dolphins are just, to me, in my opinion, being completely irresponsible. Yep. Typical of Florida. But to this point, through training camp sessions, we haven't heard any issues. That's impressive. That's a step up.
Well, I guess you can say that for the Dolphins. They announced that they're going to be letting 20% capacity fans. So I think that's 12,000, 13,000. And I don't know, because with the Giants and the Jets, the government up there in Jersey immediately said there's not going to be any fans there to start the season, which is the smart thing to do. And then you got Jerry Jones down in Dallas saying we're going to pack the house, So I guess they left it up to the Dolphins, and the Dolphins are going to go at 20%. Hopefully everything works out. I don't think it's a smart thing to do, because why chance it? Especially what Tim was just saying, that this has the higher propensity to potentially have COVID issues because you're at the line breathing on each other, like everything that Tim just said. So why take it a step further and have fans in there? During the scrimmage game that will.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I kind of disagree. I think they should. Okay. I think they should allow. But you keep them off the field level, no fans on the field level. You keep them 2 sections apart. I think you should allow some fans in, as long as you keep them distant. You can't use the same bathroom. You can't use the same parking lot. You use different entrances. You keep the field level completely empty, especially some place like Dallas. Those morons can have 50,000 people, and they'll never meet each other. That big stupid.
Very true. Very true.
As long as they skip a urinal, Faraji could still reach over and hold it for me, and there's no issue with that. As long as the urinal is skipped,
I'll do it with my feet.
Yeah.
Oh
my God. Don't have to.
So yeah,
Well, here's where I'm going with
that. My biggest issue with that, Tim, is when you're in the stadium, right? So that keeps the players safe. But what about us, right? So, what is the safety between us? Do you really think in a football game that when people are walking around the stadium waiting for online for sausage and peppers, as they would in Giant Stadium, or a hot dog or a beer, they're going to worry about keeping their distance from you, especially after that 3rd and 4th beer? They're just going to give less and less shit about keeping you safe, and let alone their own safety, which will cause a more hazardous environment when it comes to droplet sharing.
Possible.
Sharing of droplets.
If you keep them spread out enough, I mean, obviously, if you go to the game with 5 people, you 5 sit together, then have nobody near those 5 people.
So kind of like the movie theaters.
Row.
So right now, the movie theaters, what you get is that, and Kyle was telling me about this because he's gone to the movies now. But really, you go into the, you pick your seats on the app, and once you purchase the seat, it creates a force field around you. All the seats around you get taken immediately.
But what if you and your spouse, significant other, or best buddy are going to see a movie together, and you have 2 separate, let's say, Regal accounts? You pick a seat, and now uses a force field around you. Now she has to pick a seat on the other side of the theater.
Well, one person buy both tickets.
Well, he's talking if you have that. Let me not put words in your mouth. Are you talking about if me and my wife have 2 separate AMC accounts because it paid for itself? The amount of times we go to the theater. And we would have to sit, we'd sit, actually, most of the time I'd have both phones in my hand and doing it at the same time so we get the seat next to each other. But I could see where that could pose a problem. So my only concern with having the fans there is that then it becomes, there's an outbreak and wherever. And then on the news, it's like, this is all football's fault and this is that. Then you have, and we're not going to get into it, but then you have the political stuff saying, I'm not watching football anymore. Then you have the COVID people going to be like, I'm not watching football anymore.
And people bitch and moan and whine that they have to walk in a certain direction in Publix supermarkets. And if you don't know what Publix is, in the southeast of America, it's a popular chain of supermarkets. Just like maybe Stop and Shop up where you guys are up in New York, or Wallbaum's or something like that, or ShopRite.
Wallbaum's all gone now, right? I think Wallbaum's all gone.
It was BAUMS with a little leaf over the A.
Wallbaum's.
Yeah.
Memories.
You threw me off. You ruined it. So in Publix down here, they have rows. They have an arrow where you can walk up, and if you can't walk up, it's an X, and it says wrong way. And you have to go down the next row and walk around. Nobody gives a crap about that.
People are blind and lazy.
They just don't care.
We have that too. We have it in Stop and Shop too, and people be like, "No."
Yeah. Do you get people that turn around and back up
I've done that. I've done that strictly because what I needed was right there.
If it's right there, yes.
I'm not going all the way around. So
I'll be like,
cared until everybody else didn't care, and then I just said, screw it.
You moonwalk.
So I'll just
stab
somebody in the throat, and they can bleed out their COVID all over the floor. But I'm saying, so you're in a stadium right now, right? Let's say they do half capacity, right? In Giant Stadium, what's the capacity in Giant Stadium? Was it 70,000? So let's chop it down and say 20,000. Let's even go all the way down to 15,000. Do you think they can control 15,000 people to follow certain rules to make sure everything's distanced and people aren't like pissing on each other's ankles in the bathroom and up each other's ass when they're buying a hot dog? It's not going to happen.
It's going to be tough.
I think there should be no fans right now. You know what? I'm okay with upping the advertisement. What's up, Tim?
What's the
point? What's the point?
Yeah, the alcohol cans are out the door. But I'm okay with them upping the advertisement to make up revenue and keep America safe by keeping people out of the stadium. I'll be honest. I hate advertisement.
Let's make America
I'll deal with more commercials for the safety of America just to deal with it than to worry about, holy crap, look at everybody just spreading the Rona.
That's just going to naturally have to. That's just naturally going to happen, just like baseball. You know, fans can't go to the stadium, so the ratings are going to be through the roof.
I believe that the children are the future. You know, that's what it comes down to at the end of the day.
And we shouldn't risk them.
No, we shouldn't.
All right. So before we, say I got the Brian Holmes sucks thing going down on the bottom there, and there's a reason for that. What do you guys call the stuff that you get in a cup that has frozen stuff inside of it, and then you pour flavor over it?
Frozen stuff in a cup, and you pour flavor over it.
I don't want to say key words because
I'm gonna call it
like
street ice with dirty rags over it.
That's the flavor,
right? Because if we all know they're snow cones, but if you're from New York, you all know there's some guy that looks sketchy, and he's a block of ice and a shaver.
Oh yeah.
And after he shaves the ice, he puts his dirty ass rag over it, and then he pulls some random cup that has
the corner of the park.
He calls it flavor. Yeah,
but those are the guys that have flavors you never heard of before. Like, they don't have blue, red. They have like mocha, and they have like there's something crazy. Like what's
the mocha? I think our generation is Rona free because we drank that shit.
We handle it all. I drank out of the hose. I got to play baseball.
Made you an ice, and you ate it without a problem.
We drank out of public water fountains. We ate Subway churros.
The hose,
yes, public water fountains.
How about the public water fountains that are in the public parks?
That's what I'm talking about. They were like a concrete block with a rusty thing out of it.
That I caught a lady, cleaning out her hoo-ha.
Really?
Yep.
I know somebody got ringworm out of one of those.
That'll do it.
Oh, there you go.
All right. Well, but I call it Italian ice. Do you know what they call it in Philadelphia? Maybe you guys won't even find this weird, and I'll be setting this up, and it'll be
it's really probably wrong. But let me hear the wrong. Italian ice to me, that's just ghetto ice. You're talking Italian ice. You get like Marino's Italian ice from the pizzerias in New York. That's Italian ice. But let me hear the incorrect name of an Italian ice in Crapadelphia. Because that whole city sucks. I don't care if you're. I don't care. You suck, Philadelphia.
You know what it's called? It's the dumbest name I've ever heard in my life. It's called.
Well, the whole city's dumb.
It's called water ice.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
What?
Break your water, bitch. The only thing that came out of Philadelphia that was good was Rocky.
Water ice.
He
doesn't even make any sense.
Exactly. So he told me about this a long time ago.
They're a bunch of bitches. They broke the water and are having ice out of it.
But water is ice. Ice is water.
But if you break your water and you freeze it, you have water ice.
Philadelphia. I think we just got a little bit of bad news, guys.
What's that?
Uh-oh.
Let me just verify it before I announce it.
Are you talking about the Giants?
No.
You're so cute when you're announcing things. Look, he's gonna blush. Look, he's trying not to.
Blushing because it's hot. All right. Yeah. Very sad news to report that Tom Seaver's passed away.
Tom Seaver passed away.
He passed away at the age of 75.
Wow.
Oof.
Wow. Franchise. And I don't care, you're a Jet fan, a Giant fan, a Yankee fan, a Met fan, any fan in sport. If you appreciate baseball at all, Tom Seaver is to be respected. He's just one of those players that breaks the uniform barrier, but because Faraci and I are Met fans, it's super special to us. But Tom Seaver breaks that barrier of uniform, breaks that barrier of team rivalries. He is one of those special players that you just need to appreciate. And if you don't, you're really truly not a sports fan. And that's okay if you're not a sports fan. Then just bugger off, because truthfully, Tom Seaver was amazing. The guy, if you look at his career, I don't have numbers in front of me. I wasn't prepared for this, and I'm just shooting from the cuff. But if you look at his career, the guy was truly amazing. That's why the Mets call him the franchise. One of the biggest mistakes in Mets history was letting the guy go.
That's the Daily News.
Yeah, the greatest of Met of all time. And not only was he the greatest Met of all time, he is possibly, I would say, top 5 greatest pitchers of all time. That's debatable. We can fight about that another time. But you can't say that it's not part of the argument, right? If I were to say top 5 pitchers of all time with a receiver in there, you can't tell me I'm wrong for throwing him in that mix. And the guy means so much to Met fans. And he meant so much to baseball. If you ask any opposing player for any team that fought, batted against him, they will tell you he was one of the fiercest, most amazing competitors they've ever faced. And today's a sad day for sports history, let alone baseball history, and further Mets history. Rest in peace, the franchise Tom Seaver. That breaks my heart, man. And he had Alzheimer's. That's personal to me too. Yeah. So it's sad. But
75 is a good life. 75.
It is. Yeah. I'm glad he's at peace. And wow.
I wish he could have made it to the anniversary last year of 69.
Yeah.
Okay. Rest in peace.
Thank you, bro.
Yep.
That breaks my heart a lot. That just summered the whole mood for me.
Yeah. Well, somebody was watching the Giants show and they said, "Sorry to break this news." Yeah, and then Raul, there you go, R.I.P. Tom Seaver, franchise.
I love Tom Seaver. George, I know G-Money, one of the most annoying Met fans in the whole world, which is why I also love him. He loved Seaver. So tune in to Put in the Book show. We'll do a little tribute to him, I'm sure. Right, Steve?
Yeah, for sure.
Back to Giants football.
All right, let's get to Giants football. All right, so and it happens while I'm trying to say something funny about.
I'm feeling emotional. I'm really upset. I'm upset, man.
Yeah. No, for sure. And then you got
Rock and his entire family have COVID. That was just announced also.
What?
Dwayne Johnson and his entire family have COVID. Yep.
Screw 2020, guys. Screw 2020.
Oh, I hate this year, dude. I hate it with a passion.
I feel like every year we have a reason to say, screw this year. This year is just taking the cake. It's all right. So they call it water ice in Philadelphia.
Lighten the mood. Yeah. Let's go.
Water ice.
Screw water ice. This doesn't make any sense.
And so he told me that maybe a year or so ago, and then today he texted me a tweet from I guess the Eagles Twitter feed, and it was their coach going in and said, "Oh, getting Rita's water ice." I'm like, "Oh, you just reminded me how stupid that city is for calling it water ice." No offense.
It sounds like you gave Rita's water ice.
Exactly.
Well, let's look at the facts, right? What is Philadelphia known for? Rocky.
Let's dissect this.
Right, Rocky. I'll make it quick. Rocky. Philly cheesesteak. What is a Philly cheesesteak? Cheap cuts of steak that they shred thinly, put between an Italian bread that's made in New York, and then melt fake cheddar cheese melted that they add flavoring to over the top with some onions and peppers. You know what that sounds like to me? Sounds like a wannabe New York onion and pepper sandwich with sausage. Oof. Take your steak and keep it. You want some real flavor? Get a New York onion and pepper sandwich. Now you're talking, and you add sausage to that.
Always end up talking food here.
No, but it's true, right? Listen, a Philly cheesesteak is good. It's good. It's a good sandwich. Who doesn't love a Philly cheesesteak, right? But let's be real. What's better, sausage, pepper, and onion steak sandwich from New York, or Philly cheesesteak with some processed crap cheese?
We had a house guest this past weekend, and I had to explain to them how to say it. I said, you got to say it like this: bacon, egg, cheese, salt, pepper, ketchup. You got to say it
exactly.
I don't even know what you said. I said exactly. You got to say it one word, real fast: bacon, egg, cheese, salt, pepper, ketchup, and you can get the greatest sandwich you ever had in your life.
I met a kid from Publix, and he was like, "Oh, I'm from Queens. I'm from Jackson Heights." And him and I got into this whole conversation. He was a young kid, when I was leaving, he goes, yo. I'm like, yo, what's up? He goes, bacon, egg, cheese, salt, pepper, ketchup. I'm like, you don't remember. I love you.
That's how you know. That's how you know you're from
every
New
day,
York.
every morning on my walk to high school.
Bacon, egg, cheese, salt, pepper, ketchup any day over a Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah, get out of here. And then you used to get the 25-cent juices and the 50-cent iced teas. Arizona iced tea used to be like 50 cents.
Replicated Philly cheesesteaks many times. Delicious. I have never, maybe in Florida once or twice, tasted a replicated bacon, egg, and cheese, salt, pepper, ketchup. Ever.
Nope.
That's weird. It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
And then you can't get bagels down here that taste good.
No, but you ever try the I think it's a Latino cafe down on Wiles and
the gas station?
Yeah. They're pretty good.
They're
not a New York bacon, egg, cheese, salt, pepper, ketchup with a poppy seed roll, but they're pretty good. They're okay.
Raul chimes in. I like Raul. Raul's a good guy.
Yeah, exactly, Raul. F you, Philadelphia. So, Raul, Brian Hom is a Philadelphia fan. So, if you don't mind, can you just put up a Brian Hom sucks on the chat? We'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, we like that. We love that.
Where's the audio? Is the audio clip only set up for the Met show? Where's the famous audio clip?
I shut down all the audio before I moved.
Oh, okay.
I'll bring it back up afterwards. All right, so let's get back into the football stuff. What do you guys think is going to be the biggest impact of the no preseason that everybody's been wanting for years?
Tim, you go first because I'm full of this one. I can go on forever.
The biggest impact of I don't know. I mean, the Giants are still doing what they do, which is get hurt in practice. Because the biggest thing with preseason is losing those guys for 6 weeks, losing those guys for a year, losing those guys for whatever, getting hurt unnecessarily. You still find a way to get hurt. Xavier McKinney out. The number one guy I was looking forward to watching this year out. Who knows when?
Fractured left foot. Well, today they're saying, it could be as little as 2 months, but it could also be 3 months.
Yeah, depending on what surgery he decides to have. But the bottom line is he has to have a surgery. Never good for a rookie. Never good for now he's going to be a full year behind.
Yep.
It's horrible.
And they started talking about other big guys who've had the same surgery and come back, been very successful, like Julio Jones, Ben Roethlisberger. But that's like somebody gets a devastating disease, and they're like, plenty of people get through this and whatever. But you're suffering at the time, so he's going to be out for 3 months. So I mean, at that point, based on what the projections are for the Giants that we'll talk about in a week or two, we'll give our full rundown for projections. But it might not even be worth it for him to even come back this year. Depending on when he's ready.
Well, no preseason goes looking at the opposite effect. I mean, you got these guys; they want to hit somebody now. They want to hit. They're going to want to hit someone, and when they come out to that first game, who we play in Pittsburgh, we might want to knock their teeth in, or they're going to want to knock our teeth in. They're ready. Because they've been ready. If you watched the Hard Knock show, like, when are we going to hit somebody?
Oh, they're
How are
ready.
we going to hit somebody? So they're going to be ready to go. Let's just hope no cheap shots, no horrible injuries, nothing stupid. Like I said, we already got one major defensive player gone, and I can't deal with another. I really can't.
Yeah, Keith, what do you think?
I think honestly that we're going to be so. Here's my thing, and this kind of leads into the next topic.
Another beer.
So, I was gonna say, do you want to pick up on this? Because I'm gonna drill us into our next topic, but apparently not.
I'm back.
So you're so fly when you do that. Um, Here's my thing. So I think honestly, no preseason is a plus. I don't like football preseason. I don't think it's necessary. Baseball, I think is necessary because I think with baseball, everything's about timing. But I think in football, the camps and the intra squad practice and everything else in football camp is so intense that preseason is not really necessary as it is in baseball. I hope this is something they adapt go forward. I would prefer no preseason football at all. I think it's a waste. I think it's a precursor for people to get hurt. I think it's a precursor for seasons to be ruined. And I think it's a precursor for fans to be disappointed. I don't like preseason football.
Well,
I am 100%
do you guys look at
okay
it
without it.
Do you guys look at it as, I mean, because realistically speaking, you can lose your star quarterback or whoever game, within the first 5 minutes of game one. But do you guys see it as at least it was a regular season game and it meant something as opposed to getting hurt in the preseason?
Yes, absolutely. I'd rather you get hurt trying to win something that counts than a player get hurt. For example, Golden Tate. Okay, he got hurt in intra-squad preseason. That is what it is, right? But there'd be a lot more injuries compared to what we have now if we were playing other teams, and it would be devastating.
I say they go shoulder pads and helmets. No,
that kind of segues me into my next topic. If I could jump into that,
of course, absolutely, go for it.
So my point is, I think right, one of the things the Giants have been missing, which I love about our current head coach Judge. I think one of the things the Giants have been missing is a system. When we had the bullhead idiot and the last Minnesota moron, they didn't really have a system in place. They didn't really put a structure around the players. They relied on the players to and their talent to fill their role within the schemes that they created. But when you have a right team, you have a good team, which includes and starts with a proper coaching team. You have a system, right? So when you look at Belichick has a system. Belichick's system works. When even Tom Brady is out, yes, the team loses out on super talent and they're not as good as they were, but Belichick has such a system in place that they still succeed without Brady. Not to the same extent that they would if Brady was playing, but they still succeed. Judge is from that breed. Judge is creating a system. And to me, it doesn't matter who's on the field as long as everybody's buying into his system. And I've watched some of these practices and some of the mic'd up and where they watch him on the camera and they have him mic'd up. And Joe Judge commands such respect. The guy's a first-year coach. He's out there commanding respect of a senior coach. And all these guys, even Barkley, the rookies and the veterans alike, are running up to him, and he says, "Do this and do this." Do this. They finish their sentence every time with "sir." So that means to me, he's commanding that proper respect, and they're buying into his system. And if you build a proper system, you're going to win no matter who's on the field because people will fit into your system. It's such a different logic, and that's why Belichick has been so successful. You think Belichick has been successful because of Brady? Partially, yes, of course. Right? But not 100%, probably not even 20%. I think Belichick has been successful because of his system, right? Because every time Brady's been hurt, guess what? They still win. And Joe Judge is from that school, and he's building a system. Can I say system enough? Like protocol. If you're a fan of the book show, protocol is my last word. Now it's system. System. He's building a system.
Well,
he's building a systemic system.
A systemic system. I think that you're right on point there. And in addition to that, he's having fun at practice. So he's getting the respect while still having fun. There's the different drills that they're doing that guys on the team have never done before. Tennis balls on the hands to avoid holding calls, which we talked about in our group chat was like last year and the year before that, 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 it felt like every time it was 3rd and 7, 3rd and 12, it was either a penalty, holding, face mask, whatnot, or a pass over the middle to a tight end. First down. So there was that, and just want to catch up on the comments here. Raul says, "I think that every football team, including the Giants, will suffer injuries in football play in the first month of the season. Will be sloppy." I agree with you there. Sam says, "Home opener is one of my favorite traditions with our son. It kills me that we won't be there this year."
Damn, just put in the comment system, please.
All right, and then the other drill that they did was the get down and dirty in the mud after a fumble drill.
Awesome.
And I listened to a couple of interviews yesterday, and then I saw the video of it this morning, where guys were like, all right, well, it was one thing for us to jump around, let off some aggression, get in the dirt, the hose is going, the mud's going, hold on to the ball. But then coach jumps in there, and he's in there. So that even built more respect for him, and they had fun at the same time. And it was like, and if you watch the video, you see that he's just kind of like sitting back. The football's down there, and he was like, all right, go, let's go. And he was
last time I felt really confident was when we had Coughlin. Guess why? Because he had a what? He had a what?
Did he have a system?
And he didn't give a crap who bought into it or not. He built it, and if you didn't buy into it, you're out.
No, I agree 100% with you, Keith, especially because if you've been watching, the backups have been playing phenomenal. Again, how that's going to translate? Wayne Gallman has looked fantastic. Dion Lewis has looked fantastic.
Ripped off a 44-yard touchdown.
You know, these guys are all looking great, and like you said, it's not because they're running different plays. It's because system.
But
no, you're exactly right.
That's the word of the week.
For all word of the year fans out there, and you have social media, a phone or a tablet, go download the New York Giants app. You go out there, and there is like tons of amazing stuff out there. They have Mic'd Up. They have David Deal interviewing players. They have inside talk with coaches. That New York Giants app is really insightful. And it's really the source, probably 80% of my information on the Giants football. I love it. So
and share this show.
Yeah,
share this show.
Oh, share this show. Absolutely.
Hashtag
good
system.
Job, Tim. Yeah, hashtag system. Yes.
Make sure you share this show too.
Michael, can you just put out there system for me, please? Thank you.
No, I agree.
It's true
100%.
because if there's a system, everybody knows their role, and it's a joke. I'm making it funny, right? But truthfully, is if everybody knows their job, they go out there and know exactly what they have to do, and it's not this big.
Know your role,
but their job is this big, and that's all they have to accomplish is this much, and the coach takes that and fits every other piece in for them. You have a successful team, and that's kind of what Belichick does. He minimizes everybody's role. Do
your job.
He makes them good at that little piece, and he fits everybody else in around it. And players like that idiot from Minnesota who was a coach last year, and the bullhead, child molesting looking weirdo, they did not really truly utilize the talent that we had. I.e., let me pull Eli Manning out and kill his streak for a scrub ass quarterback.
Geno Smith, ladies and gentlemen.
I can go on and on, but that's the past.
All right, we're gonna have to put a ban on that subject on this show for at least the rest of the year. I think we should never talk about Geno Smith ever again.
This is the last time this name will ever be mentioned. Ray Handley. Nobody's ever allowed to mention that name again.
Well, but Keith is known to mention these weird players on our shows. We used to have the Matt Dendecker mentioned in the early days of the Met show. And then Ray Handley became a staple on our show.
Ray Handley, yes.
No, but Keith, like you were saying real quick, like when someone gets hurt in the Patriots, they don't say, well, no, we got to run a different playbook now. No, we're running the same playbook, and you're going to do your damn job, and you're going to step up. That's what Judge is doing.
Pigeonholing people and things are typically a bad thing to do. You don't want to pigeonhole anything.
Yeah, because what was a mistake
in these systems, if you pigeonhole jobs, and everybody else fits into their pigeonhole, and the coach has the grand scheme of where everybody fits and how everything works, it does wonders. So the coach has to be able to manage that, which is a huge, huge job. And I got to be honest, in these little mic'd up things I've been watching on the New York Giants app, Joe Judge has been doing really good. And he commands serious respect in the field. And players are running up to him, and he corrects them mid-play, and he goes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, sir. No problem, sir. That's a huge thing to me, because that's respect that's not usually commanded unless the coach is of a Tom Coughlin, experience. Yeah, and he's out there doing it. And then you know what he does after the play? He runs out and does mud drills with them. So he's relating to them, and he's commanding the respect. I think he's going to do a great job, but only the performance on the field will tell, and we'll find out in the first Monday Night Football game of the year against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who Judge knows very well, and I think we're going to win.
I hope.
Jump out prediction.
Mud drills is not to be confused with mud suns. All right, so we talked through the injuries. Xavier McKinney, David Mayo's out. He's got a torn meniscus, but he should be back, as they said today, week 2 against the Chicago Bears. We talked about the fun that they're having there, and like Tim, when you start talking about these, backup running backs and whatnot that we've heard, we keep on hearing they're gonna be a big contributor. They're gonna be a big contributor. Who do you think? Because I know we picked up what's his name this year, and then everybody wants us to grab what's his name from Jacksonville, and now Kamara's Fournette, who gets hurt every single year. So obviously it's Saquon, but who do you think is going to get the majority of the backup stuff for?
I would say
Saquon?
Deion Lewis, most likely Deion Lewis. I thought he's looked fantastic. He's looked really good in the preseason so far. He's a veteran, and he can chew up those yards. Saquon can't do this by himself. He can't do it, because let me tell you something right now. Our offensive line still is not where it needs to be, and I'm sure that's going to be a subject we're going to be talking about for the next 17, 18 weeks.
Yes.
Have we improved?
No, we have.
A smidge.
We have.
A smidge. But like I said, Saquon can't do this all by himself. You're going to have to give him a break. You're going to have to give him rest. I like Lewis a lot, and I also like Gallman a lot. I think it's time. I know you don't want to bring up this week, but you said you're going to have guys step up. Well, now it's time. You got to show us these. You got to show us what you can do now. Well, that's it. I don't think Judge is going to actually put up with that kind of crap. He seems like that kind of guy. You don't perform. You don't do what you're supposed to do. You're going to be gone.
That's exactly what I want.
Like Belichick. Belichick is very much that way.
I think Lewis. I say Lewis is going to be, because he's a veteran. He knows what he's doing. He's another guy who's very well respected. I think Lewis will be our
great
second backup.
Great pass catcher out of the backfield. He's one of the best to ever do it back there. Mm-hmm. And interesting that you talk about the system, Keith, because we spoke about, I think on one of the Shooting the Shits maybe a little while back, that we were going to
watch language. Thank you.
That we were going to find out. This is not Giants related, but we were going to find out if Brady was part of the system with Belichick, or if it's Tom Brady, because when Peyton Manning left the system in Indianapolis, he went on to throw 37 touchdowns, 4,600 yards for the Broncos. So it'll be very interesting to see what Tom Brady can do down.
Yeah, but what happened when what's his name went to San Francisco? What was the Giants? Patriots quarter.
They went
Garoppolo?
to
Garoppolo, you mean?
The Super Bowl.
Okay, there you go. So it's you learn from the system. I think Brady is. I'm not taking away from Brady's talent. Brady obviously is super talented. I'm not saying the Patriots would have done the same with or without him. I am just saying that whoever the Patriots put in his place, they will still win and be over 500 because of the system. You want to be over 500, 12, 13 games, you need the extra talent. they will definitely be a playoff contender because of the system.
If Cam Newton learns that he can't run anymore and he should stay in the goddamn pocket, excuse my language, then he will be very successful in New England. Yeah. But he has to remember he can't run anymore. Don't stop running. That's your worst mistake when he starts running, that idiot.
Yes,
but just the threat of him being able to escape is gonna, I think, kind of opens up the playbook for them up there in Patriotland, because Brady was 3-step drop, 5-step drop. Let me look, short pass, boom. Let's continue on, and it was just that very business-like.
I think if they put Cam in that 3-5 step drop scenario, he will be a much better quarterback. I don't think Cam is a rollout quarterback anymore.
No. I agree with
system.
And I agree with both of you.
If there's no other option, he rolls out, and that happens once or twice per game.
But just the threat of it, just the threat that it can, it's a potential. That's going to change the defense is going to change, because they have to just keep an eye on the quarterback, as opposed to Brady. You never had to look at him.
Brady's just as bad as Eli when it comes.
You could just drop back all the way. Yeah.
I love
Eli. One thing you said, Keith, about Peyton, when Peyton went to the Broncos, and you don't think there's no way just like Brady's going to be successful in Tampa. Why? First of all, they got him all his weapons. 2, that offensive coordinator and that coach, you think they can say, this is what you're going to run? Peyton brought his playbook with him and said, this is what I'm running. You can call what you want, but this is the set of plays that I want to do, that we could be. And Brady's going to do the exact same thing.
Yep.
They brought Gronk in. They got what's his name? Evans on the outside. They got bringing this guy in, bringing that guy in. This is what we're going to run. This is how we're going to be successful. And then they're going to do it. It's just saying. I mean, it's a smart thing to do with a veteran quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, just having Evans.
That's what I'm capable of, and that's how you're building your offense.
Yeah, I don't think the offensive coordinator
perform this to a T, but this is what I can do, and that's that.
Yeah. That's what Peyton. I guarantee that's what Peyton did. Peyton walked into that Broncos and said, "Drop the book. This is what we're doing." Coordinator probably said, "Okay."
With all these screwed up nerves and whatnot. So
Peyton, listen. I give Peyton and Eli, in terms of quarterbacks, maybe they were not the most flashy of all time. Peyton a little more than Eli, but they were both so respectable in terms of how they handled the sport, how they handled the game, and how they approached their. They were both studious of the game at all time. Such amazing quarterbacks, especially Eli, because he was a giant. F.U. Peyton, but they were both really a pleasure to watch. We grew up in a really good time to watch some quarterbacks.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
some of the best in the history of the game.
Yeah,
and partially because this became a throwing league. Yep.
I don't want to mention Peyton, but Peyton falls in the middle there somewhere.
Yeah, and Peyton is due. And he's a funny guy. All right, let's talk about a recent signing. We just grabbed Logan Ryan, who played for the Tennessee Titans last year. Had his best year of his career so far last year. He's a slot corner. He's played box safety before. He's 29. That's different in football than in other sports. But 99% of the snaps he played last year, fully healthy, 113 tackles, 4.5 sacks, 4 interceptions, 4 forced fumbles. He's involved in every single play that he can get into. And he credits this, just listening to an interview today, he credits last year's performance to he never stopped. He got up at 6 a.m., ran at least 3 miles a day. That's what his goal every single morning was, at least in the morning. Then he would hit the weights. Then he would do this. Then he would do that. And he was constantly moving around, constantly trying to get better. And I think it's going to be a good thing for us. What have you guys heard? And he's coming home. He went to Rutgers. So he's coming close home.
I think this is his 6th or 7th year in the league. He's played just about every game in every year of his career in the league. Our coaching staff, including Joe Judge, which I'm putting this back a lot on Belichick, because he comes from that school. He comes from that Parcells school, which also comes all the way back to the Giants school.
Sorry, is this too blinding?
I can't see because I'm looking at something else.
Okay.
Well, your head. Tip your head forward. Let me see the.
I gotta go back like this. Sorry.
Hold on. Tip your head like that again. Oh, take it off.
Anything for a bit.
Put the hat on.
Oh.
Oh, thank you. Woo. The guy.
System, the guy.
The guy with the system guy. He stays healthy. And he's done a really good job. In my opinion, like I was saying before, when it goes back to the system, if Joe Judge picks him, and you got to remember, Joe Judge not only goes back to Belichick goes back to Parcells. This goes back to Giants' roots. This goes back to Giants' championship. This goes back to even Coughlin, who is also from that same school of Belichick and Parcells. These are all positive, wonderful, amazing, masturbatory things that you want to think about all the time. Did I say masturbatory? Yeah. So if these guys are picking them up, guess what? They feel they fit into what? I'll let you answer that, Faraci.
The system?
They feel they fit into the system.
Or the protocol?
No, the protocol is the Mets. The system's the Giants. They feel that they fit. Logan Ryan may fit into the system. And I got to trust that. You know, we're going back roots. We're going back into deep roots of the New York Giants when it comes to Joe Judge. That's how I feel. And I could be super over enthusiastic and happy about this. But Joe Judge is a tie back all the way to Parcells and his organization and his teaching. And that's what the Giants are built on. They're built on tradition. They're built on continuing the past and moving forward and building on it. And that's what Joe Judge is. He comes from the past. He comes from Parcells' organization, if you really want to think about it. Maybe I'm being over enthusiastic and corny about it, but that's how I'm so excited about this guy.
That's how you should be.
No, that brings me to the other thing that I want to talk about, and that is just the mindset of the head coach role. So our last two head coaches, in Shermer and Dudu, showed, it was emotionless most of the time. Shermer, little bits and pieces, but McAdoo, who just sat there with a stupid mustache, staring at what was going on. But Joe Judge seems to be a little bit more intense, which I love. I mean, the like you said, Keith, the last guy who was intense at the head coaching realm was Mr. Coughlin, who was the color of this shirt when it dipped below 40.
Yeah,
especially in Green Bay during that below zero game. Oh my goodness, his nose!
I called the Coughlin game. I don't know why.
Fall off.
No, but real quick, I said I love the signing. By the way, our quarterback depth chart needs a lot of help, and that helps immensely. Immensely, he is. I don't even know how the Titans let him go. That's how good he is. Like I said, it's all about health, but he stays on. He stays on the field, which, like you said, is absolutely, because they're going to cut DeAndre Baker probably. This moron has armed robbery charges, which I don't know how you do that.
I think they're just waiting for them to be able to recoup some of his rookie contract, and they're going to cut him.
Yeah, because anyway, we got Corey Ballantyne, James Bradbury, who was a new signing.
Bradbury came over from the Panthers.
We got Love, who's rookie, hasn't progressed as well as we thought he was going to. The rookie out of Notre Dame. So we need help at that position. So it's a fantastic signing. And like you said about Judge, Judge is not taking no crap. He has that. You drop a ball, you're gonna run. You make a mistake, you're gonna run. You do this, you're gonna run. You're gonna pay for all your mistakes. And some people don't like that. Some people do. I think the Giants are the kind of team that they need that. They need that structure. They're gonna respond to that, and that's why he's doing so well so far.
Yep, I agree. I mean, listen, I may be a homer for our teams, Tim. I am a homer for my teams.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But, doesn't mean that there's no logic and truth behind what I'm saying. And truthfully, Joe Judge, he excites me for all the reasons I stated earlier. The guy, he has roots driven deep into our system. And some of those are championship roots, Let's see if he continues that tradition. And if he doesn't, then next year I'll be telling him to go F himself and telling you how much I hate him on the same show preseason. But till then,
let's be realistic. Are you really going to wait until next season to say that?
I've been patient. I was patient with the
Patient with where he hasn't coached the game yet.
I want to say sure name, but the Minnesota jerk. I gave him a lot of patience throughout all of this season last year. So
he's a very good offensive coordinator.
But he's another guy. Oh, we have plays for Eli. We have plays for Daniel Jones. No, you have plays for your quarterback. You have plays for your offense. You plays for your defense. You don't separate that. You don't do that.
Exactly.
That's how
right. And you know what?
Guys don't know what they're doing.
If you're good at cleaning my bathroom, I'm not going to ask you to cook my food. You know,
maybe we get a discount on there.
No, right, exactly. Maybe that's what happened with.
Was it Shermer? Was it Shermer or McAdoo that immediately screwed with Eli's footwork?
Wackadoo.
It was Wackadoo, right?
It was Wackadoo.
Sherman never wanted Eli. I don't care what he says.
Yeah, no, for sure. And clearly, McAdoo didn't like the guy either to mention for that guy.
Listen, I'm glad we got Daniel Jones.
I followed Tim's rule there. Did not mention his name again.
Ball head haircut and John Molester mustache coach took Eli out of the game. It was wrong. It was a wrong move. Last year, Sherman.
I'm always going to hate him for that.
We got Daniel Jones. I get it. But that whole wackadoo movement was wrong. Bringing in Geno. What the?
I'm just glad they let him play that one last game and to beat the Dolphins to get the 500.
Yeah, but Geno Smith, come on.
Ooh,
it's disrespectful. It really
$5 fine.
Yeah, go buy a Hess truck and just show it up your.
No, that's
they had on Friday. They had the blue and white scrimmage. Tim, I don't know if you watched. Did you watch it live?
Yeah, I watched most of it.
Okay, yeah. I've watched some of the highlights of it. I did see Lorenzo Carter with 4 sacks. I saw your boy Leonard Williams. He got a sack too. His last of the year.
He looked okay though.
Yeah, no, I mean he's
been looking good. He's been. I can't. I want to crap on the guy, but I can't right now.
No, he's been looking real good. He's going to be this year's Lorenzo.
No, Carter looked really
good. He looked really good.
Hopefully that's not just because he was playing his teammates. I must see what he does against Pittsburgh. And I know he talked about he's one of my guys too. You got to start. This is it. This is
as long as they all know their role and they fit into the system, it'll work.
But this is his 3rd year. This is the time where you got to step up because you know how these new coaches aren't going to want the guys from previous, administrations.
Oh, Faraci.
So if they don't step up, goodbye.
Ship them out. Shape up, ship out.
Faraci, put the hat back on, please.
I can. The beer is making me hot. It's just,
I can't see, bro.
It's 85 degrees in the studio right now. The sacrifices.
Can you put it out for me, please?
So Keith, this is the beer that because I turned the AC off, so it's not
causing shine off the helmet.
This is the beer, Keith, that I was trying to show you when you were having technical issues before. Tourist trap.
Yes, I saw that picture. Any good?
Oh, you did?
Yeah, but I can't see what you're showing me because your ball has blinding me.
Let me help you. Better. Ooh. Okay. It's a triple ale and it's 10% and it's fantastic. It's really, really quite tasty.
We got to do that Cody bit on there, put it in the bookshelf too.
And then Graham Gano hit on all 4 of his field goals. Daniel Jones looked okay. I saw that he had a fumble.
Colt McCoy looked good. Colt McCoy was looking good. That's scary. That's real scary. So I hope it's not just preseason scrimmage hype, but yeah, even he was looking good.
Cobra Kai.
But Daniel Jones hitting Slayton on a couple deep balls, hitting Barkley on a deep pass. Ooh.
I love Daniel Jones slamming his balls over Slayton. I mean, what?
Now
if
here
do that during the year, they should be okay.
So there's a show on the 4-Letter Network, and it's hosted by a young lady. Her name is Mina Kimes. I actually liked her when she was. I still like her. Nice, thanks, Keith. She used to do a show. It was called the 4-Letter Word Daily, where they talked about the biggest sports story of the day. And so she would do that. Now she moved off of that because she has her own football show. She knows her shit. I'm not even gonna say a word about that. She knows everybody. She can tell you a 40-yard sprint for any of the guys on any of the teams. But on the show that she did, which was a preview of the NFC East, she killed Daniel Jones. And the I can't remember who she had as a co-host that week, but the guy was saying, if you watched any Daniel Jones last year, you know he wasn't making any of the passes. And I was like, I can send you 5 off the top of my head where he threaded the needle into the end zone. But he's a rookie. 24 and 12, 24 touchdowns. Yeah. 12 interceptions. He had the same amount of touchdowns as Tom Brady did in fewer games. I'm not comparing Tom Brady, maybe. But 12 interceptions. His undoing was with the fumbles, and that comes with knowledge and saying I'm holding on to the ball too long. I'm waiting for the very last second, and with his escapability. He's like the guy that you have to prepare more for rather than an Eli Manning, because Eli Manning's not running anywhere. Danny Dimes can escape. Danny Dimes can run for a first down. So you got to respect his legs also. But I think also in the back of his mind, he thinks that his legs can outrun anything, and he can hold onto the ball for a second or two longer. Whereas Eli would be throwing it the second he saw somebody potentially maybe open to throw the ball. Before I wound up on my back again. But I just found that to be super odd. I know he had his bad throws, but everybody has his bad throws. Rookies have much worse seasons than what he did last year. I thought he had a very respectable year last year. Slayton, he got Slayton out of his shell. Slayton had big games. Look out for Slayton this year, because I think Slayton's going to have a monster season this year.
With that O-line and the injuries to the receiving core, that's horse shit. I thought he had I don't care what anyone says. The guy had a good year. For a rookie in New York, playing in front of that media, I said that with a patchwork offensive line that any one of us could probably run through if we really wanted to. I don't buy that. That's all crap. It's just anti-New York bullshit.
And it's the same thing that did to Eli, right, guys? I mean,
yes,
Eli was dogged, but he was also the most sacked quarterback in the league by far. And it was like, oh, he's not completing passes. When you're on your ass every other play, you can't really complete passes. Exactly. I'm gonna see if I can bring my son on the show next week. My grandson caught passes from Danny Dimes. He went to camp with him last year. Yeah. So I'm gonna see if I can get Justin to come on the show next week after the Monday night game and just kind of give us his take on the Giants. If we think we're passionate, Justin is super passionate. So maybe I can get him to jump on, whether it's through voice or video, and just kind of give us his take on the Monday night game next week. If we lose, I might not do that because I might be reluctant to want to hear more about how we lost. But if we win, I'll definitely get him on the show.
Yeah, no. Well, we have a couple weeks for that. They were piping in the crowd noise. They were, it was a COVID sports event. That's what it was. And I mean, for the safety of all involved, obviously, I'm down for all the crowd noise. You don't want to have fans. You want to have fans. Test it out.
It's traditional in football anyway, right? During training camps and the bubbles, they play crowd noise. I mean, it's not like anything that's new.
Yeah, you gotta hear the quarterback. They always do that.
Who's the only two listen to us now? We were up to 10 or 12 before.
Are you one of them?
You too. The 8 that left.
No, they're all out there. They're all out there sharing the system.
I hope you tune in next week.
Yeah, they're talking about the system.
They're all out there talking about the system.
You went home to tell your family about the system where you're having spaghetti for dinner.
Exactly.
Back to food. Son of a bitch. All right. They in transaction they also re-sign John. Is it Jalapeno?
Jalapeno.
I never remember how to pronounce his name. He's a center. He played the last 2 seasons.
Papa says it right all the time.
And so Papa, I extended an invite to Papa, and he did not respond to me.
But, I'll go and I'll him up a little bit.
He has responded to me in the past on the he does a a charity football cooking show on Facebook every week. And he has different guests. Like he had David Deal come on, and he was cooking in there. He had Vic DiPotato. He was in there. And so what Vic was doing, he was giving directions to whoever was cooking. And so Vic was getting it all in close to the camera. He was like, yeah, get those in there good. They were doing chicken cutlet parm. So they were frying the chicken, and he was like, not too much. All right now.
You gotta cross that out.
Yeah. So maybe we can get him on the show, maybe not. But that is about it. Tim, I know that you picked up Madden since it came out. I have not gotten it yet. What are you thinking so far? How is it using the Giants?
We're in a lot of trouble. If Madden's ratings are anywhere near what the Giants are going to be, we're in a lot of trouble this year. But I think that their ratings are always horse crap.
Well, every year the players are complaining about the ratings anyway.
Yeah, and I think the players are correct in that for that instance. But yeah, they got I think Dan. What was time? He's in the 70s. I think he's in the 70s. It's like, dude, he's not in the 70s.
Give me a break.
Give me a break already with that crap. One more thing we forgot to mention: the Giants got another cornerback today.
Oh yeah, right before, right? Yeah,
Isaac Yiadom in a trade with the Broncos for a 7th-round pick. So again, more cornerback depth, which is what we need. So
yeah. They're building the depth chart up. So it's not Isaac Yankum.
Yeah, I was just going to call him Isaac Yankum. that will be his name for the entire year. So it don't matter.
Yankum. Maybe he'll yank down some interceptions. All right. So you guys have anything else that you guys want to bring up?
No. I mean, truthfully, the next show is going to be full of content. This was just a lot of fun, this show.
This is a warm-up.
Welcome back, Giants fans. Let's go Big Blue. Big Blue Wrecking Crew.
Yeah, we have a couple weeks before the season opener. Well, especially for us, we have just a little bit less than 2 weeks. Because we start off with the Monday night game.
Can I just say
Thursday night game next week?
I don't doubt we have the opportunity to win it all this year. But expectation set. Giant fans, don't come into the season expecting that. Come into the season expecting to watch the beginning of a great run.
That's
and
how
I think that's what we're coming into. I think we're at the beginning of a great run, and I think that we are going to build a franchise and what, Fracci? What are we going to build now?
A system.
A system.
Mm-hmm.
To win continuously going forward. That's the hope.
I agree.
Yeah. We can do playoffs this year. Something special can happen. Who knows? Realistically, this is probably going to be the start of a lot of hope. And I'm not talking like Shermer hope. I'm not talking like bull haircut hope. I'm talking like serious Giants tradition hope. Let's go Giants. Big Blue Wrecking Crew.
Kyle Brandt from the NFL Network picked the Giants to make the playoffs this year. So
it's possible. It's possible.
Let's hope Kyle is correct.
That Kyle, because the other Kyle is a jerk when it comes to football. But
well, he's a cowgirl.
Kyle. You know what Kyle's problem is? He's like 19, 18 years old. Is he 20 years old? 21?
22?
He hasn't seen real. Let
me see if we can read my lips. He is a.
I'm picking up a few of those.
Look, poor Kyle said that this is the best era of basketball ever, and I wanted to throw little Kyle through a door because that's not even remotely.
You know what the best era was ever, Tim? You, me, and George in George's bedroom.
Yeah,
and I used to play I used to play the Detroit Pistons, and I was Bill Lambier.
You should have started with that.
That's stupid. That same stupid move over and over again.
But it worked. It was my glitch pitch. Tim was always the Celtics. George was always the Knicks, and I played the Pistons, and that's when Pistons had Thomas, Lambeer, and Rodman, and they were great.
I hate Isaiah Thomas. I hate Isaiah Thomas.
Remember, Lambeer was the bad boy of basketball back then. For whatever reason, in the Sega game,
certain guys had that glitch. In the
Sega game, he was able to hit the outside three every single time, and it pissed George and Tim off. They're like, "That's not really
what game are you talking? Like, which basketball game are you talking about?"
Lambeer led the league in scoring.
Was it live?
Celtics or Bulls versus Celtics?
No, it was Lakers versus Celtics.
And the NBA playoffs, right?
And Lambeer led the league.
Remember the Tom Chambers pump?
Yeah.
Right next to the basket. Pump, dunk. Pump, dunk. You can't stop it.
What pissed Tim and George off the most was that Lambeer. Bill Lambeer led the league in scoring and three-pointers.
Wait, and three-pointers?
Yes. I was shooting the outside. Lambeer, because for whatever reason, that game.
You muted yourself.
Good. I don't want to talk about Bill Lambeer no more.
Wait, but he's not even muted. He muted his microphone.
I was saying, George and Tim. George and Tim would always say, "That's not what he does in real life. You can't really do that." I'm like, "That's what he does on my team."
You got to ban that move.
Yeah.
Got to ban all glitches.
Nope. Lambeer for three.
It's like
horrible.
Completely.
Steve gets so pissed off because that's not what he really does.
Of course,
that's what he does on my team.
I was
destroy him.
It was a wrestling game. SmackDown back in the day, or no, the GameCube version of it. So I was playing with a couple of buddies. It was like crazy, like 3 o'clock. It was after we got home from having a few drinks, 3 o'clock in the morning. And so we're playing. We had drinks and whatever, and we're doing like a Royal Rumble. And for some reason, Eddie Guerrero, rest in peace, Eddie Guerrero. He goes up. He's a computer, right? He goes up to the top rope, and he just stops, and he just starts convulsing like this, and it doesn't stop, and we couldn't get him down. There was no winner. We couldn't get him down. We would hit him, try to get him off, but he would just sit there. So it was me. I threw a buddy out. It was me and Eddie Guerrero, but I couldn't do anything about it, and we just left it there.
That's amazing.
Woke up the next morning, and Eddie Guerrero's like this.
That sounds like me, Tim, and George. Me, Tim, and George would get into like real serious, like our friendships on the line type of our arguments over these games.
Oh,
it really wasn't. But
that was a game could keep the stats, so we have to write down the stats.
We kept. Yeah, we
and
kept.
It's like, oh look, here's Bill Lambeer with 87 points today.
Yes.
Fucking asshole.
Lambeer for 3. And George is like, he doesn't really do that like he does in my life.
It doesn't matter. The other thing was, I think it was regular Nintendo. I think it was Genesis, but it was a baseball game that they came out with the wireless controllers for it, and it was super. You couldn't go more than a couple of feet away, and you had a little on-off switch on your controller. So, and you could be player 1 or player 2. So I used to play with my brother. I think it was RBI baseball, and I hit the ball. And I'd switch it to the second controller, and I'd move him over, and he'd be trying to go get the ball. And meanwhile, his players are running towards the line. He'd be like, "What's going on?"
Okay, you want to go even further back? I'm dating myself now.
Real quick. Remember Turbo Graphics with Fred's house?
Oh yeah,
we had a baseball game for that.
Abu.
And I discovered a pitcher. His last name was Yates, so I called him Norman Yates. I could pitch a perfect game every single time we pitched.
It was this fucking trick.
Fred used to get so mad. Yeah, he used to get so mad. He goes, "No, you got to have a 5-man rotation. You can't use the same guy. You can't pitch with the same guy every time." But every 5th game, perfect game. 27 up,
Fred had
27 down, 27
all you
strikeouts.
TurboGrafx fans out there, there was a expensive controller that came with TurboGrafx, and Fred had it. It was this big unit and Fred fucking threw his thing across the room.
Wow.
On a perfect game. Tim threw. Yes.
Glitches in.
You want to go even further back? My brother and I'm thinking this was Atari. I think it was a baseball game in Atari. My brother and I used to play this baseball game in Atari, and every time you hit a home run, when somebody crossed the plate, it went. and it, and every time my brother and I played each other, if one of us were beating the shit out of each other, and all you heard was, my brother and I would get so mad at each other, like and we get to fight over Atari baseball, and the baseball was a square, it wasn't even round, it was a freaking square, and it would fly across the screen.
High-level graphics.
Yes.
All right, let's read off Tony Thomas's comment, and then we'll hit the road. Just read Phil Simms' book about playing quarterback and his memoir. He is pretty strong about how candy-ass coaches ruin teams, wreck your career, and how playing for coaches like Parcells, who makes Judge looks like a softie, is what players need.
Okay, so let me address that.
I agree, Tony. 100%.
Tony, let me ask you something. Your first half of your comment sounds great. Where is your basis and where is your argument that Judge is a candy-ass coach?
No. That's not what he's saying.
No, he's saying the candy-ass coaches ruin teams. Parcells, Judge makes Parcells look. Parcells makes Judge look like a softie.
Like a softie. How does he know that? What proof do you have? What track record do you have? You're talking out of school, so slow down and give it a year or two. Chill out.
Tony, I don't know if we're all 30 years younger than you. Keith is 63. But we're just having fun at the end of the show.
I was born yesterday, and I have learned a lot.
63 years ago yesterday.
Tony, this is just a warm-up show. This is just a warm-up show anyway.
Yeah, but true, Tony. Listen, let me tell you. Where are you to call Judge softy? You don't know yet. I get what you're saying, and everything I have said through this whole show is in support of what you're saying. And toward it's you need a system. I've said Coughlin, Parcells, Belichick. Judge seems to be of that school. Don't call him a softie yet.
We just don't know yet.
Yeah, be patient. And, I don't know. You could be right. I could be right. Who knows? Be patient. Let it happen.
I mean, you're right. We might be right. You saying that comment doesn't necessarily mean Judge is a softie. You're saying Parcells was so tough that he makes Judge look like a softie, as tough as Judge might seem. So, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes, especially after the first tough loss. Which there's bound to be some tough losses this year.
And be willing to listen to us youngins talk about video games. Just be patient. Mostly it's a giant show. The season hasn't started yet, Tony. I trust you, and you trust me. If we do that, we will have a great show.
Don't trust Keith. I don't trust him.
We'll have a great system.
We'll have a great system, Tony. No, seriously.
It's all part of the system.
We're just yapping right now. The season hasn't started yet. Trust me, we don't get all into that nonsense when the season starts. But give Judge a chance, give Peace a chance, and that's all we were saying.
You were going there. All right, Keith, I asked you for final words a long time ago, and we went on this rant. Tim, any final words?
No. I said I'll just say I like the direction we're heading. I'm not going to make a prediction yet. We'll wait for another 2 weeks to see what happens as far as who gets cut, who makes the team, who doesn't. I hope Xavier McKinney comes back very, very soon, because I was beyond excited to see what that kid had. But let's go Big Blue, and next week be even better.
Next week will be our second episode of season 3. This was our 29th overall episode, so next week is the big 3-0. And so next week we'll have to figure something out. Tim, I might need you to run next week's show while I join from a cell phone or something.
That's cool,
because I might be involved in moving. So there's that. Next week we'll fully run down what our expectations are for the season. We'll go through our predictions as we do every year. Last year, I think a couple of the guys had 11-5. That did not come to fruition. Raul, have a good night, buddy. And then we're gonna run down each week, and we'll talk about potential for win-loss and come up with an overall record. And by next week, we'll also run down our predictions for the season. What will the Washington Football Club do this year?
Dude, that drives me crazy in Madden. It's just Washington.
Oh, wait, okay. I was wondering if they had that in time, if they were able to update that in time.
Washington Football Club in the middle of their field.
They should spell it like if they were New Yorkers. WAR Washington.
Washington. Yeah, and then the following week it'll already be time to talk about the first game of the year, which the Giants will have won on Monday Night Football against Steelers. That'll wrap it up for us this week. Season 3, episode 1 is in the books. See how I jammed that in there a little bit. And again, I know this is a Giants show, but R.I.P. Tom Seaver on our way out. We'll talk to you next week.
Rest in peace, Tom Seaver. That breaks my heart.